Hello! In this video, we are going to go over all the common hiding spots in the back right corner of Desert Village. So when we went over the hiding spots near hide or spawn, we talked about this TNT stack. So now we're going to start heading in this direction. So starting with these cakes, there's basically a total of 6 cakes, right? The common spots to find a hider is if you find a cake right here, or a cake right here. Right, that's typically what you see. Right? You could also see, for instance, a furnace here, or a bookshelf, of course, and also anywhere where you see a flower pot over here would be fake as well. You might even sometimes see a cake or a flower pot behind it like this, right? They can even get on top of it, right? They can get on top of it from here, so you'll sometimes see them hiding behind here like this as well. So that's pretty much it for this, right? For these bookshelves over here, usually you don't see a bookshelf, but basically just know that there's a total of 5 bookshelves over here. One of them which has a slab on top of it. That's basically it. Right, but we also have these cauldrons over here. Sometimes you'll have it squared off right here, like that, right? Where you see 3 cauldrons or 3 cauldrons surrounding the center like this. It's big. Basically, this is actually a really common structure in Block Hunt, and so you just sort of need to memorize this block pile. If you recall, it occurred for the anvils in Thames Square, so you gotta just know it. Right? So now, we're going to just head over to this block pile, sort of similar to the cakes over there. In this case, there's just 3 anvils that we're focused on. So sometimes you'll see 4 anvils, for instance, like this. This would be fake. Right? You also shouldn't see a furnace hiding in here like this. So this would be fake as well. Shouldn't be a block here. That's basically it. Right? And for these cauldrons and flower pot, it's just 1 flower pot, right? If you have a cauldron on either side, like right here or right here, that would be fake. Right? For these cakes, it's just a total of 3 cakes. There's some typical spots, like for instance, right here, right here, right here. Whenever you see 4 cakes, it would be fake. Right? This is like the boundary. But for the melons, basically, again, notice we have that same structure that we just saw for the cauldrons. So, again, if it's squared off like that, it's fake. Right, you basically have that common structure in 2 melons. That's basically it, so it's just something you gotta memorize. So any modification of that. And for these melons right here, basically it's a pretty large structure, but you think about it, like whenever you see 4 in a row, like for instance like this. Hey, the GOAT! He's back. I saw your video. Oh my god, dude, I saw this guy's video. Dude, I don't even know you, but oh my god. Dude, what in the world just happened? Okay, 4 in a row. And also, if you see that's awesome. If you see the fish structure like this, that would also be fake, right? So you shouldn't see the fish structure like that. Right, and over here it's just a total of 6 melons, so if you see 7 melons, it's gonna be fake. I did not expect that. Dude, that guy's awesome, I love him. Okay. Then we have this furnace stack. Right, the furnace stack is just the letter Y. We've seen the letter Y quite a few times in this map so far. So if we head over here, right? If you recall, we saw the letter Y over here when we went over this, right? The letter Y here with these bookshelves. We saw the letter Y over there with those bookshelves, right? And we saw the letter Y. I can't believe that just happened. The letter Y with the cakes on top of this building. Right? So we've already seen it quite a few times. Shouldn't be a super big surprise that we see it for the furnaces. So you just gotta remember any modification of the letter Y, for instance, like this, or if you see something like that, could be fake. I should morph into a flower pot because there's also a spot you can see as a flower pot over here. Like a flower pot in this hole. That's really all you gotta know for this furnace structure. Over here you have some anvils. It's basically just 3 anvils and 2 flower pots. So if you see 3 flower pots, typically all next to each other like this, it'd be fake. An anvil next to the anvil stack would be fake. These hay bales are actually quite similar to the hay bale stack we went over in the first video. They're similar but not the same. right? Basically, they're similar, so you could kind of draw some connections with them. It's not as common to find hiders in this hay bale stack as it is the other stack, right? Sometimes you'll see a hay bale in this slot, right? Or if you see two on top of each other, like a hay bale on this side like that. That's typically what you'll see with the hay bales. Right? For these bookshelves right here, right? These bookshelves are sort of near hider spawn. Right? For these bookshelves, notice for these bookshelves, basically you see the fish like this, it's fake. Right? You see the fish structure, it's fake. That's typically what you just gotta know. Sometimes you'll see 3 in a row like this. See, 2 bookshelves on top of each other, that's also fake. Right, then over here, with these bookshelves, also pretty easy. It's just 1 and 2. Right, so if you see bookshelf on either side, sort of like what we saw for the cauldrons in the flower pot. Right, something like that. On either side, it'd be fake. You see 2 on top of each other right here, it's fake. Sometimes you even see a 1-2-1 pattern like this. And I think that just about covers all the outside block piles in the back right corner. So now we are going to go over the buildings. That'll basically conclude the video. Okay, there's really only 2 buildings in the back right corner of the map. There's the big building and the little building. We'll go over the little building first, since it's smaller. Right? Oops, I meant to morph into a flower pot. Right? If you don't have Leaper Hunter, notice it's not super easy to get on top of the building. I mean, you can do it, but like you can get on top of it from here. Right? Again, you sort of gotta make that jump. Right here, you can get directly on top of it. So I'm just going right here. Anywhere where you see a flower pot on top of this building, it's fake. You just gotta know that. Also, if you see a cauldron next to this cauldron, like this, that would be fake. Right? Or if you see a furnace with this furnace, like square furnaces or a furnace on top of this furnace, it would be fake. Right, and that's basically it. Right? And in the inside of the building, not as common, but you will sometimes see it. Notice right here, there's a slot on this wall right here. Like if you see a header right here, or right here. So bookshelf or TNT, I think I meant to say. So that's the spot you'll sometimes see there, right? Or if you see a square of bookshelves like this is fake, right? You usually don't see a hay bale next to this hay bale, but again, notice how it forms that same structure with the cauldrons that we saw earlier. That's basically it for the inside of this building. Yeah, that's basically it. And so that's it for that building. Next we'll move on to the other building. Alright, so we got a downstairs, we got an upstairs, sort of, got a balcony with it, and then the very top of the building is probably the most important part to know. Melons are probably the most important part, right? Many times you'll find a melon in this slot, so melon right here is fake, or a melon in this spot, right? This would be fake. Notice how it makes the stack symmetrical, that makes it fake. But if you see a structure that sort of looks like a pickaxe, if you look at it the right way, it looks like a pickaxe. This would be a fake melon as well. Alright, so next we got furnaces and flower pots. As for the furnaces, again, it's that same structure that we've been seeing, right? So if you see any modification of that, for instance, like this, right? Too high up, it'd be fake. If you see 3 flower pots like this, typically, then that would be fake. That's pretty much it for the top of the building. One layer down, we have some cauldrons and a bookshelf. If you ever see 2 bookshelves, right, like this, or like this, typically, that would be fake. For the cauldrons, if you see 3 in a row, like here or right here, it's fake. Square of cauldrons is also fake. And that's basically it. For the actual room right here, there should be nothing in it. But it turns out, notice these are all oak wood slabs, but it turns out this is actually a bookshelf. So you'll sometimes find infestors in this infestor spot. Turns out that there's also a bookshelf right here and a bookshelf right here. So you just sort of have to memorize those infestor spots. It's obviously you don't see them every game. It's like not super common at all. But you should just be familiar with it because if you ever encounter it and you're a radar hunter, you should be familiar with those. Right. The reason why they're there is if you go to the downstairs of the building, you'll notice how there's really bookshelves, and so these are the slabs, but there's bookshelves actually on the top layer. Right, the tops of bookshelves on the top layer. Right. So this is the downstairs of the building. Again, don't overlook it. You actually do many times find hiders in here. Most common one I would say is a TNT right here. So 2 TNTs in a row like this is fake. That's basically it. And over here you shouldn't see a full table of cakes and flower pots. Not super common, but you might see it. And you shouldn't see a hider next to this anvil, like sometimes it's an anvil or a cauldron. And that's basically it. One thing I forgot to go over on the outside is like this little area right here. So you have furnaces in a singular bookshelf. So there is a single bookshelf right here. But you shouldn't see a furnace, like for instance right here would be fake. That's typically what you see. Usually you don't see furnaces touching each other. Furnaces aren't super common to find over here. If you do find one, they're usually going to be touching, like directly touching each other. That's basically it for the furnaces and basically everything in the back right corner of Desert Village. You do have some infestor spots inside, like you have a furnace right here, cauldron right here. They aren't the most important things. Again, you should be familiar with it if you do encounter with radar. Again, there's like only one thing on the outside of this building. There should be nothing else. And I don't think there's anything on the outside of this building. There should be literally nothing. As you can see, no blocks on the outside of this building at all. There's actually a hole over here. If I morph into a flower pot, again, this one is actually not even that common at all, but usually they're non-ideal hiders, but there's a hole right here. Hiders can actually hide in. But that's basically it for the back right corner of the map of Desert Village. And so that's pretty much the whole idea, but that's pretty much it.